All right, guys. Um, First of all, thanks for joining us. I'm super excited about the partnership with Modernize. And today we're going to talk probably for about 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, depending how long it goes with questions at the end on how to engage effectively with homeowners in a time of social distance. Just quickly introducing sort of both of us. Taylor, of course, partner marketing manager with Modernize, and myself, the founder and CEO of Hatch. And we'll talk a little bit about what Hatch does. I know a lot of folks already know what Modernize does. We'll talk about the partnership and what Hatch does in a few slides from now.
Yeah, guys, and just to sort of add to Chris's point here, obviously the goal of this webinar is to give you some real actionable takeaways about how to engage with homeowners during this, really interesting time. But feel free, if you have questions about the products or companies we're talking about, feel free to ask those as well. But again, the focus here, whether or not you work with Modernize or Hatch, is to give you some really actionable advice going forward.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, I totally agree. If you guys walk away with 4 sort of actionable takeaways, I think the value will be huge for your company. And we want to start off with sort of being transparent. We understand that now is a very sensitive time. There's a lot of homeowner uncertainty. And because of that caution, it's causing a lot of things that we're seeing in the market right now. 1 is canceled appointments. 2 is just fewer installs and sales overall. And we understand that this is hurting cash flow for businesses. And so what we hope to do today is to be able to give you guys some takeaways, just a little history about Hatch. We're a conversation platform for home improvement companies. And so we're able to see conversations between home improvement companies and consumers. And there's some really interesting data to help folks get through this and continue to drive cash flow. So excited to share that with you guys.
Yeah, and just to add, to what Chris just said in terms of where we are today, there's no question if you haven't experienced this yet in your business, there are a good amount of home service contractors out there that are experiencing, more cancellations and less installs. Some homeowners out there are pretty cautious, and despite being at home, maybe they're not really willing to run an appointment with you right now. We totally understand that. The second sort of macro trend that's going on is obviously 0% interest rate. The federal government cutting interest rates across the board could potentially be affecting the economy and your homeowners, of course. And then lastly, as I just mentioned, people are home. That said, while they're home, they're really facing things about their home they might want to improve, things about their home that they've been thinking about doing for a while. And now the fact that they're at home, maybe they are curious about a home improvement project, right? So new leads are still coming in. That's something we see from Modernize on a daily basis. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite slides. This is actual data from our conversation platform. And I think this is where it gets super interesting for you guys, because you can take this data and run some strategies in your business today. And we'll get into how that sort of applies later on. But these are 3 data points that I asked my team to put together just to show you guys what's happening in the market with talking to customers. So the first thing is this plus 25% engagement rate. What does that mean? Our customers use our platform to communicate with their customers, homeowners, people looking to get projects done. The amount of people that are engaging with those companies is actually up 25%. So normally we see about a 70% engagement rate. It's almost at 90% right now. It's pretty amazing. So people are looking for home improvement companies to be more engaged now than ever, having 2-way conversations. The second one is interesting because we do connect with CRMs to be able to track sales that are produced from our conversations, and sales are actually down 37%. So it's not that we're not ignoring the fact that sales are down during this time, and it is happening, and we're seeing that happen. But we're also seeing an interesting stat on the far right here, which is a 21% higher average selling price. And so we're working with our customers on strategies to say, okay, if sales are down, but engagement's up and the average selling price is up, normally it's like $8,000 or $7,000. And right now it's creeping to like 10 to 11. What is that saying? It's saying that people that have the cash that are at home are now spending time doing these projects. How can you engage them, because they're willing to talk right now, and get those people to buy during this time using the right messaging? I think this is a really interesting data slide that's helping us come up with strategies, and we'll show one of those here today to get people to not only engage, but still make purchases with you, still keep their install dates, and all those scenarios. So I thought this was really interesting.
Yeah, the next slide here, folks, this is something that we're able to look at on a daily basis. And for those who don't know, Modernize is the #1 privately held lead generation company for HVAC, roofing, siding, solar, and windows. So we're actually able to see by the minute, by the hour, the kind of homeowner demand coming in that are looking for contractors like you to help them do their jobs, right? And we've actually seen month over month, February through March, only a 2% decrease in homeowner demand looking to do projects. And actually, candidly, if I could tell you, actually week over week, it's almost flat. And on some days, it's actually up. So just to add to Chris's last point, homeowners that are home are actually looking to do projects, especially homeowners that maybe are too busy if they didn't have to work remotely. So I think this is a really powerful stat just to sort of indicate to you that there is demand out there, and what are the best ways you can incorporate into your process to reach out to them. Another quick thing here, guys, is in terms of not just Modernize data, but data from Google, from the largest search engine in the world, we're actually seeing in the 90-day trend, it's mostly flat, including an increase last week. This is for home DIY. And I know what you're thinking, home DIY doesn't necessarily mean they could be a customer of yours, but at Modernize, a lot of times what we see in our data is that people who begin looking for home DIY projects ultimately come to the conclusion that A, they don't really want to do it because they realize how complicated it may be, and B, they just don't have time for it once they realize how big of a lift it is. So a lot of times our homeowners begin looking for home DIY and then realize, it's time to find a professional. So again, data like this is super encouraging, especially coming from someone as big as Google. Once again, same deal, home improvement, mostly flat. And then home repair, same situation, right? So these are really homeowners that are increasingly looking to search engines to do projects, regardless of the current, challenging climate with being at home. Window replacement, one of the biggest trades for Hatch customers I know, and one of the more expensive project types. So encouraging to see this as well from Google. And then lastly, roof repair, a bit of an increase as well. So again, guys, just quickly summary, Modernize and Google are both indicating there's a ton of homeowner demand out there. So no matter what you're reading in the news or maybe hearing from other contractors, there is demand out there, and how can you capture it?
Awesome, Taylor, that's great. I just want to sort of reiterate, that there is opportunity, and how to sort of take advantage of it. So we're going to jump a little bit into tactical things and talk about the partnership specifically between Modernize and Hatch. And the three things that we're going to cover today inside of these tactics, whether or not you use Hatch or not, is speed to lead from Modernize, getting to leads as quick as possible. In fact, instantly works the best. 2 is, how do you use technology to do virtual appointments? So we're tracking a lot of that data using our engagement platform, and we're seeing that virtual appointments are through the roof. In fact, most of our customers never did it before. And so they're having to learn, what are the tools that I need to actually get that done and work remotely? And then the last thing is messaging that actually works. And this is about the verbiage that you're using to communicate with your customers. What are you saying during this time? You've got to be sensitive. You can't use the same verbiage that you used 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. And so what are we seeing that's working and getting that high engagement that's resulting in some sort of good business outcome?
And real quick, guys, as I just mentioned, just quickly about Modernize. Again, the #1 lead generation company for HVAC, roofing, solar, siding, and windows. Just quickly, in case you don't know, we only target homeowners that are actively searching the internet for one of these jobs. And these homeowners have requested an in-home estimate from professionals like you. We have a quick video in the next couple slides in which we'll show you our process. We wanted to make you aware of, why we're equipped to give you this knowledge and some of the data we've been able to see. And just quickly, another great benefit of Modernize, we're able to connect your sales team with more homeowners. We help you really stay focused on closing the deals with instant lead delivery, and we help you collaborate with dedicated account managers to hit your goals. So there's a lot of lead gen providers out there. I want to make sure that you know how we differentiate and how we are able to work with great partners like Hatch.
Awesome. And a little bit about Hatch. Hatch allows you to engage with your leads using instant two-way conversation. So the way that I explain it is that we're a business messaging platform, but we were built strictly for home improvement companies. And we're designed to help you do two things: increase your close rate and lead conversions. So we combine a lot of different channels of communication that we know consumers love: text, email, and phone. But we allow you to automate very complex workflows, because home improvement conversation workflows are complex, from the lead to the follow-up to install. And we also allow you to collaborate with your entire staff all in one place. So that's who Hatch is. And this is, I'm excited about this partnership for a bunch of reasons. But one is because we've connected with Modernize to be able for you to instantly engage using text, email, and phone with Modernize leads the second they come in. You get to continue the conversation through the entire buying journey and do it from one collaborative workspace. And we've heard from our customers that one of the challenges is that in home improvement companies, regardless of the size, call center or not, even individual business owners, getting to these leads as quick as possible is what's going to convert them into an opportunity that then turns into a sale. So the real problem that we're solving with this partnership is speed to lead. And we'll see that in the next couple slides. Yep, speed to lead from Modernize. That's a term that we've heard a lot in the industry, and so we're rolling with it. It's really about how fast you get to your leads. Let's talk about that for a second. So we believe that messaging, especially two-way text messaging, conversations are going to result in more appointments. And we have the data to prove it. This is from Salesforce that says 9 out of 10 homeowners, these are homeowners, consumers, want to have a two-way text conversation with your business. So if you aren't using that method today, you should. They get a 98% open rate and a 209% higher response rate than phone, email, or Facebook. So what we've done is combined all those together with automation. So we use every channel every time to get you the highest conversion rate on your leads.
Chris, if I could just jump in here, again, as Modernize as a lead generation company, we have exposure to a ton of homeowner data. And we actually ran a survey over all of 2019 in which we asked homeowners during our lead form process, which we'll show you in a second, do you prefer to be contacted via SMS? And roughly 70% of people check that box to say, yes, I would prefer to be contacted via SMS. So, obviously this slide, the data is coming from Salesforce. Yep. We're seeing de facto home improvement prospects, homeowners are saying, yes, contact me via SMS.
Awesome. So what I wanted to dig in here, though, is that obviously this week is different than previous weeks. And I want to talk about the current climate and how we're seeing people use and combine Hatch and Modernize during this time. And this really is going to be focused on not just the technical how-to, but the messaging that we see working right now and how you communicate with leads. People are obviously thinking about social distancing, right? Do you have to come to my house? Do we have to stand 6 feet apart? Can you just come and look at the exterior? They're thinking all these things. So I want to dive in and look at not just the how-to, but what do you say to people to convert these at a high rate? So this is the video. We'll talk for a second about the Modernize process. And what I love about this, I was telling Taylor earlier, like these are the most highly qualified leads I've ever seen. You've got to go through a 13-step questionnaire, fill out all your information, exactly how many windows you're looking to get replaced, for example. I give my email address, I give my phone number. These are pretty motivated people. We grab that information, and then Modernize is looking and matching them with all of the right contractors, home improvement providers in the area. And this is where Hatch takes over. So from the tactical standpoint of actually executing on this, this is an example of our communication cadence. All this is saying is that over a 6-day period, I need to contact that lead instantly, but if they do not respond, I need to continue to follow up with them. If you have a cadence like that built in your workflow, you're going to convert more customers. So in this example, as soon as that lead comes in, we're going to grab all that information and immediately send them a text message. If the customer doesn't respond, they're going to get a text message and a call on day 2, and then on day 4, and then day 6. And I want to now talk about the actual verbiage or messaging inside of this very first text and the rest of them down the cadence. It's very important what we're seeing work right now. So this is a text message that your customer would get. And this is a real live example, guys, of text messages that we're seeing work that gets this high engagement rate right now. So this one says, "Hi, Josh." We take the customer's first name. "This is Chris from ABC Windows. Our reps are happy and healthy and ready to do your appointment in home, but we're also offering virtual appointments during this time just to be safe. Which one would you prefer?" Now, for states that are mandatory, what we have seen that almost every state has said that home improvement is an essential business. So you guys have the choice on whether or not you're going to do it in home or not. But what we're seeing work is offering both options to folks. The customer can then respond and said, "A virtual appointment makes sense. Can we do 10 a.m. tomorrow?" From our platform directly, it will respond and say, "Yep, that works. 10 a.m. tomorrow, please join." And this is where we're giving folks the option to use a link to do an appointment right over their browser. And I'll show you how that's working. So one of our partners is Whereby. We really like this technology, one, because it's free and anybody can sign up for it, but two, because it works in browser. And all that means is you don't have to download an app and your customer doesn't have to download an app. As long as they have a smartphone, which most of these folks do now, they can click that link and automatically just log in by putting their name into the field when it says start the meeting. So they can then do it over the phone. And I'll show you the next slide, what it looks like to actually do a face-to-face. It's just like FaceTime. So the contractor and the homeowner can sort of go over the project. And although different than what we've done in the past in a lot of situations, worst case scenario, this is keeping the customer engaged. Best case scenario, you're able to actually measure out and give the customer a quote and send it to them over a messaging platform. So this is an example of a virtual appointment, and we see this working pretty much everywhere in the country right now. And it's unprecedented because we've never seen really virtual appointments in the home improvement space before. So it's been amazing. Here's some of the results that have come in. Cancellations were cut in half by companies that said, "Hey, we're going to do virtual appointments." So some of our customers were seeing like 10% cancellation rates. They've cut that down to about 5% or below. They're seeing 2x booked appointments versus traditional methods. Same sort of thing. We're taking this out of the same sort of category here. And then one of the things that we are noticing is pipeline is building up. And so the customers that don't want to do appointments now, or they're using our platform for revisit or rehash, they're moving their pipeline to April and May. And we see that up 2x right now. So they're taking these conversations, they're saying, okay, if it's not appropriate now, let's look at booking these things in the future.
Yeah, and just to jump in here, as home improvement contractors, I'm sure many of your eventual customers, it's not a day 3, a day 5, a day 10 that you close the job or that you even pull the appointment. So, you're used to pushing the appointments out. I think homeowners appreciate this. I think really the core of it is beginning that relationship, starting to gather information and using like a hatch to begin that process, but, waiting to do the appointment or doing the virtual appointment. So, you can move the appointment once, you can move the appointment twice, but the core lesson here is to get them in your CRM, begin messaging them with something like a hatch, and eventually hold that appointment so you're that much more prepared to close the job when they're ready.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and just to sort of, obviously the goal here, guys, is to give you as many takeaways as possible to handle this challenging time. Working with a Modernize, working with a Hatch is a great way to do that. But there's a ton of great tools out there. Chris just mentioned Hatch works with Whereby, they're partners, and it's a great tool to hold some of these virtual appointments. He just mentioned the numbers, which personally, I think are unbelievable. And we're seeing very similar things on the Modernize side. So having a virtual appointment tool will really go a long way for impressing your eventual customers, right? For measurement, Hover's a great tool in the roofing space for being able to measure that project for your homeowners virtually. For visualization, Company Cam is a great photo app, again, mostly for exteriors and roofing in terms of, sharing the project you want to do, sharing the project progress. And Leap is a great partner of ours. I think they're also partners with Hatch in terms of digital contracting and estimating, right? So when you're eventually holding these in-home estimates, you don't want to have to be able to write down a credit card number on a piece of paper or try to do the contract process where you try to have a conversation. So that's why Leap has built a great, super powerful technology. You can just run the contract on a tablet and have that conversation with the homeowner. And then lastly, Hatch, we're doing this webinar with them because they're a great partner and they shine through at a time like this in terms of the two-way messaging. So these are some virtual tools to check out if you haven't already. Again, we're partners with all of them, so we wouldn't give you just random ones. We'd give totally vetted quality partners. Awesome. And in terms of messaging to homeowners during COVID-19, Chris, if you want to jump in and help me out here, I would say the first thing is just as he mentioned earlier, remind them that you're an essential business and can operate at full capacity, right? Home improvement contractors have been given the seal of approval by the government. Make sure your homeowners are totally aware of that and aware that they can begin the process with you and start doing business with them.
Yep. And just to piggyback off that, what we're seeing work right now is don't be afraid to book appointments out or book virtual appointments. I know virtual appointments in this industry haven't been done before in a lot of circumstances, but now's the time to do it, and it's working. Other messaging that we're seeing work really, really well is offer financing. There's a lot of federal 0% interest opportunities out there, and I know there's also a lot of lending companies. I think Green Sky's a partner of ours that's offering some pretty incredible stuff. Offer people special offers, and I'll show you an example of this for booking an install before April 30th. And use this time to continue to get cash flow by talking to people about different options. And the fourth one here is communicate your policies, your COVID-19 policies before every appointment. I was telling Taylor before the meeting, we even have one of our customers that's taking their temperature before they go in the home to finish the project. So, there's a lot of just communicate it, make people feel safe about it. And that's actually going to help you to get some of these installs completed and some of these appointments booked. Awesome. So this is a screenshot of a work from home rep in Pennsylvania who is in charge of installs at a home improvement company. And they were noticing some folks were pushing back installs. And so we work with them. This happened just on March 23rd, right? PA is actually one of the states that's pretty much on lockdown. And you can see this message. I think it's very, very interesting. And I love the verbiage. It basically says the message goes out directly to the customer. A lot of this is automated, but it knows exactly who to go after. But I think it's very interesting. It says, in light of current events, we've pre-ordered due to possible delivery disruption and to ensure our employees' schedules. We're offering a temporary additional discount to our customers who are able to have their project installed prior to April 20th. Let me know if you'd be interested in this opportunity. The customer, Jenny, then gets back and says, great idea. Of course, I got to have the cash. Yep. And Darron jumps in and says, totally understand. They've opened up financing rates due to the federal rate drop. We'd be able to get you set for less than $100 a month. Let's talk. And then Jenny then responds almost within like 20 minutes and says, hey, can we talk by phone tomorrow? I'm actually interested. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is an actual conversation. We've blocked out some of the names to save people's identities. But, this is an actual conversation that's happening right now. Homeowners are at home. This resulted in a $12,000 install that they ended up getting installed before the April 20th date. So I think this is just a good example of how to keep cash flow going and interesting ways that you may not be thinking about on how to take your current customers and leads and turn them into dollars and revenue.
Yeah, and just a couple more things to shout out Chris for this just awesome message. I mean, Darron, obviously that's not his name, but he hit on a bunch of the things we talked about, right? Like he was honest and transparent, mentioned in light of current events. He's mentioned this, great offer they have. And then he talked about the federal cutting interest rates, and he talked about, how we can work together. Really, it was an honest, positive discussion in which he didn't pretend like, everything's normal. He did everything we mentioned in terms of mentioning his COVID policies and having a great financing offer. So these are definitely templates you can reuse and use for yourself in terms of generating that homeowner engagement you're looking for. And like we said, guys, just to wrap up here, we promised we'd give you 4 takeaways. We're going to fulfill our promise here. The first one, we showed you the data, both from Modernize.com and from Google and from Hatch. Homeowners are ready to set appointments, right? It might have changed in terms of when they want to set the appointment or how they want to set it, but the demand is still there to get jobs done. And the second one, if you aren't first, you're last, right? We talked a ton about speed to lead. Candidly, as someone who helped work on the partnership between Modernize and Hatch, that's why the partnership was so compelling to us, is the fact that we talk about speed to lead all the time to our customers at Modernize. And we're always telling them, if you're not on the phone with them within the first 15 minutes, you're probably going to lose to a faster contractor. So whether that's looking at a communication solution like Hatch or just taking a hard look at your follow-up process, you want to be first and you want to prioritize that speed to lead. And the third thing, virtual appointments are going to be your savior here, right? For those states and those counties and those cities that are on lockdown, in-home appointments are not possible right now. But that doesn't mean homeowners aren't ready to do them, and that doesn't mean there's ways around that. There are great solutions out there. We mentioned Whereby. We're hosting this webinar on a company called Zoom. Zoom does virtual appointment type solutions as well. So the solutions are out there. The homeowners are ready to do it and are asking for it. They'll definitely be able to help you fill your pipeline, as we've already seen in Hatch's case, in Hatch's customers' case, to be able to fill your pipeline for the rest of the year. So definitely look into that. And then lastly, use messaging that works, right? This is a truly exceptional time, and homeowners know that. So be transparent with them, be honest, talk about your policy, talk about how your salespeople run their appointments to give them peace of mind. And obviously, offer financing and offer discounts when you can. Chris, anything to add to those?
No, I think those are 4 brilliant takeaways, and get right to the point. It's really good.
Love it. And of course, guys, we mentioned an attendee bonus. It wouldn't be a webinar if we didn't offer a discount. So obviously we're special for this time. If as an attendee of this webinar, you get 15% off of all marketing programs. You saw the lead form process that Chris talked about earlier. Really, we're delivering only the most highest quality leads in the trades we work in: HVAC, roofing, siding, solar, and windows. We've partnered with great companies like Hatch and Leap. We'd really love to show you what we have to offer, especially in this time. We talk a bunch about baking period. A lot of times the leads that come in to our system and you begin talking with, you're not going to see results for 30 days or something like that as you get ramped up and as homeowners get familiar with your process. So, hopefully in 30 days, the climate's looking a lot better than now. And what better way than to build up your pipeline than working with a lead gen partner like Modernize? So give us a shout, check out this link. After the webinar, we'll be sure to send it to you as well. Modernize.com/pros/hatch. Yeah, check us out.
That's a long URL to say fast, Taylor.
Yeah, working on it.
Yeah, and so on Hatch's side, one of the things we're doing is we're waiving all setup fees right now, and we're actually just recently launched our free for 30 days COVID program, which all we're doing there is trying to help the home improvement industry get through the next 30, 45 days. We understand there's a lot of change going on. There's layoffs in some cases. Call centers are changing. The interior of offices are changing. The makeup of the staff is changing. People are trying to adjust and survive. And so we're here to help. And what that comes with is the ability to hook up, obviously, with a modernized speed to lead solution. But we have some other solutions where we plug into CRMs and solve some other communication issues with your customers. And we also have playbooks and verbiage that other home improvement companies are using that's working. All of those we bring to the table, and we want to offer you guys that. And so all you have to do is go to usehatchapp.com/modernize.
Awesome. And again, guys, really we're here to help you both Hatch and Modernize. As Chris mentioned, we have tons of resources in terms of what's working right now, given this outstanding time. So, whether or not you move forward with either of our solutions, we're here to help. Ask us any questions after this webinar and we send you a recap, and we'll be sure to point you to, the best resources and some of the data we're seeing from our customers. But we promise we do a Q&A here at the end. We have a couple questions coming in. Guys, if you didn't have a chance to ask during the presentation, please ask now, and we will get to them as soon as we can. The first one I'm seeing is, Chris, I think this is a layup for you. Does Hatch help me figure out what to say to my leads?
Yes, the answer to that is we do. Basically we measure verbiage and which ones get the highest engagement rate, and we give you that playbook when you sign up with us. So you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to do a lot of A/B testing. We actually look at responses per market, and we're going to give you those right out of the box so you can get going as soon as possible. Good question.
Love it. Second one I'm seeing here, how does Modernize charge for leads? Great question. So we're not that different from other lead generation companies. Leads vary in terms of price based on metro, based on trade. So, certain areas are a bit more competitive than others. And certain trades obviously carry a bigger ticket price than others, right? A solar panel job is probably a good amount more expensive than an HVAC job. So it really depends. The range we like to give people, and again, it's really totally custom to where you're coming from. Typically the leads cost between, $20 to $50. So again, check out that link, modernize.com/pros/hatch, and we'll get you talking with one of our salespeople. But yeah, one other thing, we don't do annual contracts. I got a question about Modernize doing monthly billing. I'm not totally sure that monthly billing is something we're offering yet, but it's something we're evaluating. We like to do 3-month contracts to start, but that's a conversation we can have. So check us out, shoot me an email after. We'd be happy to talk about that.
It's a good question. We're looking at the same thing, Taylor, right? So most of our contracts are annual, but we're deferring some of that to help with cash flow. So I think it's a good question.
Another question I'm seeing here, Chris, if you want to knock this out, does Hatch replace my CRM?
Good question. No, we work hand in hand with your CRM. We're seeing a shift in the home improvement market where home improvement companies are building what I would call a tech stack. So you probably have QuickBooks, you'll have a CRM. A lot of times in the past, folks would use maybe a dialer in that stack, and we're becoming sort of the messaging platform of choice inside of that stack. So we actually like to work with customers that already have an established CRM, because that allows us to trigger a lot of actions to automate things that you've always done manually in the past. So no, we do not replace CRMs. We work really well with them, almost 150 of them. Great question.
Great. Another one for you, Chris. Does Hatch work with call centers?
Good question. Yes, I would say 60% of our customers are call centers, and we integrate directly into those workflows, however complex. And it's one of our, to me, favorite features. So we have the ability to be able to collaborate on these conversations. And why that's important is because not everybody in the organization is suited to take on a customer response. If it's setting an appointment, that's pretty easy. But if you get a price objection or something like that, you may want a sales manager or someone else to jump in. And so we work right along with the call center. We just need to understand the workflows, and then we plug right in. Good question.
Great question. And again, just quickly, I think Chris mentioned it, but really one of the reasons we partnered with Hatch is because they're not just a texting solution, right? They're not just a calling solution. Hatch is really your modern contact center, right? So SMS, web chat, voicemail drop, really they do it all in terms of what modern homeowners are looking for. So just wanted to add an additional color there for you, Chris. And another question being here, how is Modernize different from Home Advisor? Great question. We get that all the time. Home Advisor is kind of the big gorilla as a public company, but there are 3 key ways that we're different. The first being Modernize is trade focus. So I mentioned we focus on 5 core trades: HVAC, roofing, siding, solar, and windows. So really we think our focus enables us to know more about our contractors and their customers than, someone that does more projects or does, 50 or 100 different project types. So that's one way in which we differentiate, is that focus has really enabled us to really apply best practices across our customers. The second one would be is we're really about volume. So if you're looking for 1 or 2 leads a month, if you're just trying to get started with leads, you never tried them before, we might not be the best partner for you. We're really looking for contractors that are looking for 500K and up in growth for the year. So we're really looking for aggressive contractors that are looking to outsource some of their marketing or have us be the marketing engine for their salespeople. Again, we know it's a challenging time. We're having our own challenges as a technology company, but again, if growth is your goal and you're on this webinar, probably means you are, we're a great partner for you. And the third and the last one I would say is that, account managers is something we offer all of our customers, right? So we're not giving you a bunch of leads and saying good luck with it. You're assigned a account manager to you that you have weekly calls with, that you're able to sort of really evaluate how the lead program is going, is able to make changes. So we really try to be your marketing partner, and that's the third reason we say that we're different from HomeAdvisor.
Really good. Taylor, the last thing I want to say is it's interesting because your core ideal customer is the same as Hatch. And that's why I love this partnership, is because we like to partner with people that have invested in their business, that have, at least 5 salespeople, that are focused on getting a lot of leads in that growth. But we're also super passionate. I mean, our background, we started as a service-based company about 5 years ago, helping home improvement companies have conversations with their customers directly. And that taught us a lot about the verbiage that's needed for homeowners to really understand and appreciate their journey buying from a home improvement contractor. And so that's what we're here to do during this time. Like, this industry is really near and dear to my heart. And so any way that we can help, verbiage playbooks, use our technology for 30 days, any way that we can help, we're there. So that's it.
Yeah, we're coming up on time here, almost 40 minutes exactly. Just wanted to say thank you guys for your time. We really hope we provided some takeaways for you to navigate the outstanding climate we're in, and just, keep the faith. The homeowner demand is there. Virtual appointments is a very real solution you can apply today. And hopefully Modernize and Hatch can really help power your strategy through the end of the year. So keep the faith. There are options out there. And, as Chris just mentioned, we're both here to help you in any way we can. So check out those links, shoot us an email. Chris, anything to add to finish this out?
I don't think so, man. Taylor, this is it. This is awesome, guys. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.